Cheers and salutations. Oh, excuse me. Welcome, one and all, to Americans Learn. My name is Kit. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe and hit that ring bell notification. That way, all of you are made aware when we upload new content upon our YouTube channel. And today, we have ourselves a fun video to check out. It is titled Killing Hitler, the story of George Essler. Now, I've never heard of this person before, but this is the first video on Eastory, and people were saying, hey, you need to check this one out. So because it's New Year's Eve, and because this is Eastory's first video, and because I've really grown to respect this channel and how it's been able to articulate historic events, condense it, but make it easy to follow, funny to watch, get informed, why not check it out? But before we do anything else, you hip cool cats, you lovely, beautiful people, guys and gals, listen. Support the original content creator. That link is in the description box below because we need channels like this to keep on inspiring people to get involved and know more about history because the world has stories to tell. I've never heard of this person, so let's find out who he is. And since I'm in charge of the ones and twos, let's get ready to check this video out in a 3, a 2, a 1.
1944. Hitler is speaking to his officers about the situation on the front. Suddenly the room is wrecked by explosion. Some people are thrown up out of the windows, one is killed on the spot, and many others are seriously injured. Meanwhile, Klaus von Stauffenberg, the man who is responsible for the bombing, is hurrying to Berlin to take over the power from the Nazis. But Hitler is alive, and their plan is bound to failure. Stauffenberg could only use one bomb, and in the last moment it was moved so that part of the table shielded Hitler from the blast. The plot involved thousands of people, many of whom were high state of
Lots of power, no power. Kind of looks like an Attack on Titan kind of thing. Okay. It looks nice. Funny animation, but historical. And I think we've all heard of this. I mean, there was even a movie done starring Tom Cruise as the eye-patch German that tried to get rid of first name Adolf, last name Hitler of the Third Reich.
Officials and took many months to prepare, and all those powerful men together were unable to kill the Führer. Yet only less than 5 years ago, one man almost succeeded where thousands had failed. Today we will tell his story. We'll have to go 10 years back in time. Nazis have come to power, and they are beginning to steer Germany towards war. Hitler is pursuing expansionist policies, and one victory follows another. Saarland is reunited.
We're going to be winning so much you're going to get tired of winning.
With Germany, and Austria and Sudetenland are annexed. Many Germans saw this as Germany's return to great power status, and Hitler's popularity grew. However, one man saw the things otherwise. He saw the shadow of war. Where some saw the return of national glory and stability, he saw the descent toward another world war, and he came to a conclusion. The one that would have great impact on his life. He decided that if Europe is to avert another war, the men who were behind the aggressive policies had to be done away with. He decided that Hitler had to die. But who was this man? Meet Georg Elser. He is a craftsman, a rather skilled...
Georg Essler. Okay, that's how you say his name. He's a craftsman. Okay, I can respect that. Shout out to our audience members that know how to build things. It's a skill all of you should learn. I recommend it, especially in this day and age of technology where these smartphones control everything. Be clever. Build. Just don't be glued to the screen all the time.
Craftsman. However, for the job he has undertaken, he has no special skills. Yet he is dead serious about carrying it out. Where could one kill Hitler? Well, the best opportunity was probably in Munich around the 8th of November. Back in 1923, Hitler and the Nazi party attempted a coup in Munich. They seized the Bürgerbräukeller, but were later dispersed in street fighting. Hitler was imprisoned. After coming to power, Hitler commemorated the failed coup every year with a procession and a speech in the Bürgerbräukeller. On the 8th of November 1938, Elsa went to Munich to look for an opportunity for the assassination. One possibility was to shoot Hitler from the crowd of...
Okay. Dude, shooting in the crowd ain't gonna do that, and it's gonna get you messed up. The imagery is great. Look, if this doesn't cause you to subscribe to this channel, to Eastory, I don't know what does, because this is fun.
Of onlookers. However, the abundance of Nazi salutes and flags made that difficult. Then Hitler would speak in the Bürgerbräukeller, but only veteran Nazis were allowed to enter. As shooting Hitler was complicated, Elsa decided that it would be better to blow Hitler up during his speech. It didn't make his task a lot easier. The Keller was basically a large pub that, for the most time, was open to all people. So one could be able to place a bomb there, but before Hitler's speech it would be searched. The bomb would have to be carefully concealed. How could you hide something as large as a timed bomb? Well, you put it in a wall or a pillar. If Elser could pull that off, then it would be days between placing the bomb and the explosion. That meant that Elser also needed an elaborate timer, one that could tick for days and go off with the precision of minutes, a task considered almost impossible with the technology of 1930s. These alone were
True. Oh my goodness gracious. How do you even pull that off? And plus, remember, look, he's building a bomb that's gonna kill the newly installed Adolf Hitler of the Third Reich. And let's just be clear here. I mean, it's gonna blow up, and a lot of people are also gonna be victims of it too.
difficult tasks, not to mention the problems with obtaining the explosives. In theory, Nazi Germany was a totalitarian state where people were tightly controlled and therefore could not be able to acquire the explosive materials, at least without alarming the Gestapo. In practice, it was quite different. Military factories were crunching out arms on an unprecedented scale and were in need of workers. Else signed up to work in the shipping department of Waldenmeyer Armaments factory. He had to receive explosive materials and deliver them to other workers. There he got some knowledge about the explosives and could put aside 250 pellets of powder. Soon Else had to leave that place. He didn't have enough explosives yet and he headed out to find some more. He went to a local quarry and began helping out the workers. When the owner questioned, "Was are you doing here?" he replied that, "Ich bin unemployed. Ja. Und bored und want to help. Ja."
I'm bored. I've never heard of. That doesn't work.
He was hired on the spot and began regularly working there. Now it was time to steal some more explosives. As it was Nazi Germany, the security was very... Wait, that wasn't so hard at all. He went to the shed where the explosives were stored and found out that it wasn't even properly locked. Elsa began paying visits to the shed at night and carrying away small amounts of explosives. Finally, he carried away a crate full of detonators. The security at the quarry was so lax, the owner was sent to a concentration camp after Elsa's assassination attempt was discovered.
No.
Now that he had the materials, it was time to design the bomb. Elsa had no prior knowledge about bomb making, and at the time there was no internet where one could look that up. But as
Error 000, internet not discovered yet. Totally real 1930s computer version 1234. I believe this. And all of you should be typing in the comment section below that you believe in this totally real 1930s computer too. That's right. It's real. It's real, gosh darn it. It's real.
As German army was expanding, it needed more pioneers, and therefore literature about explosives circulated freely. Elser bought a booklet, and it taught him a lot. He carried out a couple of test explosions in his family's garden shed. His uncle was working in the field. Suddenly there was a loud noise from the shed, and horses panicked. Elser later explained to his uncle that he was trying something out, and when he was done...
What are you doing? Yeah, I'm inventing the internet. What's the internet? Why, it's a place where everyone can get information and speak to each other. Well, it sounds like an interesting idea, but it also sounds like a time where people could just yell at each other. The internet, it'll never catch on. Computers, technology. Next thing you're going to be telling me is that people can land on the moon, or that there's going to be big commercial flights of airplanes, and that there's going to be bullet trains, and that there's going to be instant fast food and everything else. Let me tell you something. You got to live in reality here, buddy. Next thing you know, you're going to tell me that cell phones are going to be a thing. What's a cell phone? I don't even know yet.
His uncle would certainly hear about it. The detonator was ready, but it was just the tip of the iceberg. The real difficulty was with the timing mechanism. It had to be compact, be able to work for a long time, and be precise. A difficult challenge, yet one that Elsa managed to carry out with perfection. He had received some clock parts instead of a salary in his earlier job, and now put them to good use. The basis of the mechanism was a clock. Every time the hour hand made a full circle, it moved the cogwheel for 1/12, so the timer could be set for 144 hours, or exactly 6 days in advance. In order to be totally sure, he added a second clock. The timer mechanism released a nail that struck a firing cap of a rifle shell. The powder in the shell ignited and detonated the blasting caps. These in turn detonated the explosives. If one failed, there were 2 more. The bomb was placed into a wooden box which was insulated with a layer of cork from the inside, so the ticking sounds couldn't be heard. Now Elsa went to Munich to install the bomb. If earlier he could manage without much risk, now it was really getting dangerous. He wanted to place the bomb into the pillar nearest to Hitler. He had to make a cavity in a concrete pillar with primitive tools. As the pillar was in a public place, he had to do it during the night and leave no trace. This
Okay, you know what? I'm getting a pit in my stomach. This is starting to get really intense. Look, I think a lot of us want to think that we're oh, excuse me. Sorry, I guess I need to have more of my morning coffee. But this would be nerve-wracking for me. And even though this already took place, the ink is already dried, the past is behind us, but I'm scared for this guy. But spoiler alert. Unfortunately, Adolf doesn't go away until 1945. So, yeah, that's a thing. I hope our boy makes it.
His task was the ultimate definition of grinding. He had to work in constant danger of discovery. In the evening, Elsa hid himself in the Bürgerpoi. When the night began, he went to the pillar and began his work. He worked for some hours and then slept until morning. When the cellar was opened, he sneaked out. First, he removed the wooden paneling at the base of the column and added hinges to it, turning it into a secret door. It took him 3 nights. Now the real work began. He had to dig out a cavity in the column for the device. At first, he used a chisel, but the noise was too loud.
Oh.
He then switched to a hand drill. If he had been discovered, a trip to the Gestapo and a death warrant would have
Hold on.
switched to a hand drill. If he had been discovered,
I forgot my hat. Hey, what are you doing? I'm just checking the foundation. Oh, okay. Bye.
a trip to the Gestapo and a death warrant would have been certain, yet he had to return for more than 30 times. Meanwhile, World War II broke out as Hitler invaded Poland. Finally, a week before Hitler's speech, the chamber was ready. Elsa pressed as much explosives in it as he could. He came to install the timing mechanism, but the cellar was unexpectedly locked. He had to return the next day. There was a dance party in the cellar. Elsa attended it, but he was far from dancing. When everyone had left, he began installing the timing mechanism, only to discover that the cavity was too small for it. Elsa sawed off the corners of the mechanism and attended another dance party. During
Guys and gals, you hip cool cats, be the man or woman with a plan. Don't be the man or woman without a plan. Always have a plan, as you should, especially going into 2024.
the night, he installed the mechanism into the pillar. It fitted perfectly. He set the clocks in motion. The bomb was to go off in the middle of Hitler's speech. Elsa prepared to escape to Switzerland. He went back to the cellar to check the clocks. They were on time. Next day he left towards the Swiss border. Every year Hitler would speak in the Bürgerpoi for 2 hours. However, this time he needed to be back in Berlin to plan the war, so he cut his speech shorter and began it half an hour earlier.
Oh,
On the 8th of November, the Bürgerpoi was filled with 1,500 old Nazi party members.
no.
They greeted Hitler with multiple Sieg Heil! Then it was 1 hour and 20 minutes till explosion. Hitler spoke about German defeat in World War I, how Germany was betrayed from behind, about the rise of the Nazi Party and how it made Germany strong again, how the Western powers have dragged Germany into another war, but now Germany was strong and her enemies were weak. This time Germany will crush its opponents.
Not gonna happen. The combined might of the Allies have a word to say to you.
Bomb was slowly ticking. Now it was only 20 minutes left. Hitler spoke for some time more and then hurried to the train station. 13 minutes later, the Bürgerpoi was rocked with explosion. The pillar was destroyed and part of the ceiling caved in. The hall was filled with smoke and cries of the wounded. 8 people were killed and more than 60 injured. After the chaos settled, the arrests and interrogations began. More than 1,000 people were rounded up by Gestapo. However, they didn't know that they already had the bomber in their custody.
Oh,
Elsa
no!
had attempted to escape to Switzerland, but he was captured by the guards just
I thought he made it out. God damn it.
25 meters from the border. Detonator parts had been found in his pocket with a postcard of Bürgerpoikelle. Soon, evidence began to mount against him. He was recognized by many people in Munich,
Oh,
and there was no
no.
point in denying. He confessed. However, he was not shot. Hitler wanted his assassins to be tried in a public trial after the war. It would have been a good propaganda. Therefore, the would-be assassins were rounded up in concentration camps. When it was clear that the war was lost, all of them were executed. Among them was Georg Elser. He was killed on the 9th of April 1945, a month before the end of the war.
Oh, Georg. You were a bold man. Tried to stop a madman from destroying the world. From the window to the wall, rest in peace. What a shame. But see, this is what I like about a lot of these history channels that we check out here on Americans Learn. You hear stories about people that you never knew. History is interesting. There are unsung heroes that you never knew about. As we end 2023, look into 2024 with fresh new eyes, new hope, but be inquisitive and ask questions. Get our learn on, and we'll see you all next year. But by the way, the original link is in the description box below, so check it out. Peace to you.